Hi, friends. So I know that we were in the middle of finishing up our read aloud, and so I wanted to start a new read aloud with you guys digitally. And I got some new books that I ordered right before we left. Of course, you guys know me. And so I thought that we could read it for the first time together. I showed some of you guys that were there at morning meeting when I opened these books up that finally came in. But Jasmine Toguchi is a series book, and she has the Mochi Queen, she has Flamingo Keeper. There's two others I can't think of the titles off the top of my head, but I have all of them. And Debbie Michiko Florence, she's the author. And when I listened to Angela Dominguez and Henna Khan at NCTE this year, I also got a chance to meet Debbie Florence and hear her talk as well. So I thought that this would be a good one to start with. Sage is here and wants to say hi. Sage has been really loving this online learning because she just wants to be a part of it. And so she keeps just wanting to be in. So you'll probably see lots of Sage in our videos. So I have not read this book yet, so I thought it would be kind of a cool opportunity to be able to read it together for the first time. So without further ado, welcome to our new read aloud, Jasmine Toguchi, Mochi Queen. Last thing, if you guys want to have paper in front of you and just jot down, if you want to sketch note what's going on or keep track of characters, you guys know the deal. But I would love to hear or see what you guys are thinking about while I'm reading this story to you. So if you want to jot down some notes and take a picture and upload it, or make a video talking about what's going on in that fabulous brain of yours, that's fine too. Without further ado, let's get started. Jasmine Toguchi, Mochi Queen. Here's the table of contents, so you can see. Jasmine Toguchi, Mochi Queen. A terrific idea. It was safest for me to hide in my room. Mom was scrubbing the guest bathroom. Dad was getting the cardboard boxes from the garage. My big sister, Sophie, was sweeping the kitchen floor. I waited for my chance to escape the cleaning frenzy. I, Jasmine Toguchi, do not like to clean. But I do like to climb trees, eat dessert, and make messes. I'd rather do any of those things right now. I peeked out of my bedroom window. Dad has moved into the backyard. I tiptoed out of my room. Nobody in the hall. I ran to the front door. But just as I put my hand on the doorknob, I heard footsteps behind me. Jasmine Toguchi, where do you think you're going? I slowly turned to face my mother. We need to clean the house before everyone arrives tomorrow, Mom said. Now go help your sister. Walnuts. This was exactly what I was trying to avoid. Helping Sophie would mean that I did all the work while she bossed me around. I already finished sweeping, Sophie announced from the next room. Scattered across the kitchen floor, small mounds of dust and bits of trash sat like sand dunes on the beach. Except this was no vacation. You can pick it all up. I'll let you know if you did a good job. This reminds me of my sister when I was younger. Sophie is 2 years older than me. She thinks that makes her my boss. If that weren't annoying enough, she also gets to do everything before me. She started school first. She learned to read first. She even started piano lessons last year, and I have to wait another year. Not that I really want to play piano. Sophie was always the expert. She thought she was smarter and better than me. Just once, I wish I could do something first. Just once, I wanted to be the expert. As I swept the piles into the dustpan, Sophie climbed up onto the kitchen stool. It was like being higher up made her more in charge. This meant barking commands at me while she picked at the chipped polish on her fingernails. You missed a pile. You missed a pile. Stop sweeping so hard. You're making dust fly into the air. Don't spill or you'll have to clean it up. I sighed and swept. We were getting ready for Mochi Suki. Every year, our relatives came over to our house to celebrate New Year's. We'd spend the entire day making mochi, Japanese sweet rice cakes. It's hard work to make mochi, but there's a reward, eating the gooey treat afterward. Actually, all the other relatives do the hard work. In my family, you had to be at least 10 years old to make mochi. This year would be Sophie's first time getting to help. I'm only 8. Once again, Sophie would do something before I did. By the time I was 10 and got to make mochi too, she would be the expert and boss me around. That would take all the fun out of it. This year, just like last year, I would be stuck babysitting. I bent over, scooped, and walked to the trash can to empty the dustpan. I did this 100 times at least. I wish I could help with Mochi Suki. I didn't want to watch DVDs with my 4-year-old cousins. It wasn't fair. I was big enough to make mochi. I'm going to help make mochi, I said to Sophie. She kept picking at her orange nails. You're too little. You'll only get in the way. I'm big enough. Yesterday I noticed I came up to Sophie's chin. During the summer, I came up to her shoulder. I was growing. Just wait your turn, she said. This year, Sophie would sit at the table in the backyard with Mom and all the other women. She would probably get to sit right next to Oba-chan, our grandma who came from Japan every year for the holidays. Stop pouting and finish cleaning, Sophie said. You'll get your turn at Mochi Suki when you're 10. I wish there was something I could do before her, something she could never do. I swept up another dust pile. Suddenly, I got an idea. It was a tradition for Dad, the uncles, and the boy cousins to turn the cooked rice into sticky mochi by pounding it in a stone bowl with a wooden hammer. That's what I could do. I could pound the mochi with the boys. What are you grinning about? Sophie scooted off the stool and took the dustpan from me. Sweep the floor again to make sure there's nothing left. You needed to be strong to pound mochi. I was strong. So I swept the floor using all my muscles. Stop, Sophie screeched. You almost hit me. Mom, Jasmine tried to whack me in the head with her broom. Hitting Sophie sounded like good practice for pounding mochi, but I knew it would only get me in trouble. Just then, Mom walked into her kitchen. Her forehead wrinkled like it always was when she got annoyed. Jasmine Toguchi, you know better than that. Go clean your room if you can't work well with your sister. I handed the broom to Sophie with a smile and skipped to my room to work on my terrific idea. I'll give you a little preview. Here's chapter 2, my thinking spot. So starting out, I would like to share a few thoughts that I have about this book. And maybe it'll spark some ideas or connections or maybe even disconnections that you guys are having from this book. So I can identify so far a lot with Jasmine Toguchi. Number one, I am the younger sister. My sister is 2 years older than me. And so on the weekends growing up, my mom used to give us a chore list. Not sure if any of you guys have a chore list, but we would have a chore list, and my sister would always delegate out or distribute out the chores between what she would want to be doing and what was left for me to do. So this kind of reminds me of the book already. And when the older sister is kind of monitoring and supervising to make sure she got it done right, that reminds me of me and my sister as well. Another reason I can really connect to this book so far is because I grew up in a family that does make mochi. I know that I've shared my gyoza tradition with you guys, and my grandma and I make gyozas every year together for the holidays. And specifically, we do it around Christmas time because that's when we get a chance to have the longest amount of time together. So my grandma and I, and usually my dad too, help with gyozas, but it's mostly my grandma and I that do it. And then um, my dad and my grandma, their kind of thing is pounding out all the mochi, making the mochi together. And so I typically help with whatever tasks they need as well. And my favorite part is sometimes we have like some soft mochi, and then like they were talking about in the book, and then my grandma too, we grew up like chopping it up into these little tiny like bite-sized pieces and frying it up, and it was kind of like our version of Japanese popcorn, and it was amazing. So I'm interested to hear about what you guys think about our first chapter of our new read aloud book. Feel free again to drop a picture with the thinking that you've done. Maybe you want to draw a picture of Jasmine Toguchi or start collecting facts about her. Or maybe do some connections like I did. Maybe you even want to ask some questions about Mochisuki and do a little bit of research around that. So, whatever you feel like doing, I would love to hear what you guys are thinking about, so that we can start kind of tracking our connections digitally. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.